Hormones might be part of the reason your running feels harder, but they are probably not the whole reason. And I know that may not be what you expected me to say, because when you're a female runner and your body suddenly starts feeling different, hormones are the obvious thing to blame. Your sleep changes, your energy changes, your mood changes, your easy pace starts feeling suspiciously difficult, your recovery feels slower, and suddenly the run that used to clear your head now feels like another thing your body is arguing with. So of course, the first thought is, well, it must be my hormones. And sometimes, yes, hormones are absolutely involved. But here's where female runners get stuck. If you blame everything on hormones, you miss the other pieces that are actually easier to change. So I want you to look at this. This is the whole picture. And yes, one piece says hormones. That piece matters. Perimenopause, menopause, cycle changes, hot flashes, night sweats, sleep disruption, mood changes, joint aches, changes in energy, all of that can affect how running feels. So I'm not saying that hormones don't matter. That would be ridiculous. I'm saying that hormones are one piece, not the entire pie. Not the villain sitting in the swivel chair, stroking a cat and ruining your running. Just one piece. And if you only stare at that piece, you may never fix the rest of the picture. And that is what we're going to do today. We are going to look at the other pieces female runners often forget. Because once you see the whole picture, your training decisions become much clearer. And stay with me, because the final piece is the one most runners leave until something goes wrong. And this is where hormones and training often overlap. Because yes, perimenopause and menopause can affect sleep. Hot flushes, night sweats, anxiety, and that 3 a.m. brain festival where your mind suddenly wants to replay every decision you've ever made since 2009 can make sleep all the more difficult. But once sleep is poor, it is no longer just a hormone issue. It becomes a training issue. If you slept badly, your body may not recover as well. Your mood may be different. Your motivation may be lower. Your perception of effort may be higher, which means the same run can feel harder even if the pace has not changed. So if you wake up after a terrible night and your plan says hard session, the question should not be, how do I force myself through this? The question should be, what is the smartest version of this session today? Maybe you move it. Maybe you make it a little bit easier. Maybe you shorten it. Maybe you still run, but you stop pretending you are starting from a full battery. That's not just making excuses. That's using all the information that is presented to you. The next piece is training load. This is the one runners underestimate, because training load is not just how many kilometers you ran, it's how hard those kilometers were, how close together the hard sessions were, how much hill work you did, whether your easy runs were actually easy, whether your long run became a race against your watch, and whether you added strength training in a way that supported your week or destroyed your legs for 3 days. A lot of runners say, I don't understand why I feel so tired. I'm not actually running that much. But when you look closer, every run is sitting in that middle gray zone. Not easy, not properly hard, just that slightly uncomfortable, slightly proud, slightly too fast effort that makes you feel productive, but leaves your body with one more thing to recover from. That is not a hormone problem. That is a training load problem. Hormones may make your margin for error smaller, but if every run is just a little bit too hard, you are still turning the screw. The fix is not always less running. Sometimes it's clearer running. Easy runs that are actually easy. Hard sessions that have a purpose. Long runs that do not turn into weekly auditions for your next race. That is a very, very different plan. The next piece is fuel. And this one matters more than many female runners want to admit. If you are running, lifting, working, managing stress, sleeping badly, dealing with hormonal symptoms, and trying to recover, your body needs resources. But a lot of women are trying to do all of that while underfueling. Sometimes intentionally. Sometimes because of old diet philosophies. Sometimes because life is busy and breakfast became coffee, lunch just became a few bites while standing up, and suddenly it's 5 p.m. and you're wondering why your run feels like punishment. When your body does not have enough energy available after training, it can affect performance, recovery, bone health, hormones, mood, and injury risk. So if you feel flat all the time, if you're not recovering, if you're getting repeated niggles, if your hard sessions just feel impossible, fuel has to be part of that investigation. Not because food fixes everything, not because you need to eat perfectly, but because you cannot build fitness from nothing. It's like trying to renovate a house without delivering the materials. The builders can be there, the plan can be beautiful, everyone can be motivated, but if there are no bricks, nothing is going up. The next piece is strength. And this is where I want female runners to stop thinking of strength training as optional. After 40 or 45, strength training becomes one of the ways you protect your running. Not because running is bad, running is brilliant, but running is repetitive. And if your calves, glutes, hamstrings, quads, hips, and core are not strong enough to tolerate that load, every run costs more. You might still have the fitness, your breathing might feel okay, but the legs feel heavy, the heels feel steeper, and your stride feels flatter. And then it's easy to say, well, my hormones are ruining my running. Maybe hormones are a part of that picture, but sometimes the body is also telling you, I need more support. Strength training gives your running a stronger frame. It's like putting a good shelf on proper brackets. If the brackets are weak, the shelf might hold for a while, but eventually everything just starts leaning in a way that starts making you feel a bit nervous. That is what happens when you keep adding running load to a body that needs strength. And this is a good moment to say, if mobility is one of the places you feel stuck, stiff, or unsure where to begin, we have a free mobility class that can help you start moving better without making it complicated. You can use the link in the description to join the free mobility class. And keep watching, because the next two pieces are the ones that can really ruin your training block without looking like running problems at all. The next piece is stress. And I do not just mean emotional stress in a vague way. I mean the real life stress that female runners carry. Work pressure, family pressure, caring responsibility, money worries, the mental load, the messages you haven't replied to, the appointment you forgot to book, the person who is asking you where something is while standing directly next to it. Your body does not separate all of that neatly from training stress. It does not say, that was work stress, so I'll not count that against your run. Your body just feels load. So if stress is high, your easy run may feel harder. Your hard session may not land well. Your sleep may get worse. Your appetite may change. Your recovery may slow down. And if you respond to all of that by pushing harder because you think you are losing fitness, you can make the whole picture worse. That is why the plan has to respond to life, not just your goal race. Sometimes the most mature training decision is not the hardest one. It's the one that lets you keep going next week. The final piece is recovery. And this is the one runners often leave until the body forces the issue. Recovery is not what you do when you are failing. Recovery is where the training actually becomes fitness. The run is the signal, recovery is the response. If you keep sending signals and never give the body time to respond, you are not building fitness. You are just collecting fatigue. A lot of female runners are incredibly consistent on paper, but they are not adapting. They're doing the sessions, they're ticking the boxes, they're pushing through, but they're not actually absorbing that work. And when that happens, the easy explanation is, well, it must be my hormones. Again, maybe hormones are involved, but before we blame them completely, we need to ask, are you recovering well enough for the training you are doing? Are your easy days easy enough? Are your hard days spaced properly? Are you sleeping enough? Are you eating enough? Are you doing the strength in a way that supports the weak? Are you taking lighter weeks before your body has to demand them? Because if the answer is no, then hormones may not be the whole problem. The plan may simply be asking for more than the body can currently absorb. So, this is the point. Hormones matter. They really do. They can affect sleep, mood, temperature regulation, energy, recovery, joint comfort, and how training really feels. But they really are just one piece of the pie. The whole picture includes sleep, training load, fuel, strength, stress, and recovery. And that is actually encouraging because it means you are not powerless. You may not be able to control every hormonal shift, but you can influence your training load. You can make runs easier. You can feel better. You can build strength. You can improve mobility. You can manage stress where possible. You can plan recovery before you are completely exhausted. You can stop using hormones as the full explanation and start using them as context. And that is the difference. Blame stops the conversation. Context helps you make better decisions. And if you want help understanding how to put all of this together through perimenopause, menopause, and beyond, that is exactly what we cover in the Running Through Menopause Masterclass. We talk about how to train, how to recover, how to think about strength and intensity, and how to keep running well without feeling like every week is a battle against your body. Use the link in the description to save your seat. So the next time you have a bad run, or your pace feels slower, or your energy feels different, do not jump straight into it's just my hormones. Ask a better question. Which piece of the puzzle needs attention? Because once you can see the whole picture, you can stop blaming your body and start working with it. And that is how female runners keep improving, not by pretending hormones do not matter, but by refusing to let hormones be the only story.